He was splitting firewood when he heard the knock, not on the door, on the window. A small trembling sound, like knuckles that weren't sure they had the right to disturb anyone. The forest ranger looked up, confused. No one ever came this deep into the woods without calling first. When he turned, he saw a little girl standing outside the cabin. She couldn't have been older than 7. Her coat was too thin for the cold, her boots muddy, her cheeks pale. He rushed to open the door. Hey, what are you doing out here?" he asked gently, kneeling to her level. She looked at him with wide, frightened eyes. "Uncle, Mom won't wake up," she said. For a second, he didn't understand the words. Then their meaning hit him like a sudden drop in temperature. "Where is she?" he asked quickly. The girl pointed back toward the trees, her hand shaking. "In the car. We slept there." He grabbed his jacket and flashlight without another question. The forest was quiet in that heavy way it gets before snow. Every step they took made the dry leaves crunch loudly underfoot. They walked for what felt like too long for a child to have traveled alone. Finally, between the trees, he saw the shape of a small car. The engine was off. The windows were fogged from the inside. His heart started pounding. He opened the back door first and saw a woman slumped in the driver's seat, head tilted slightly, eyes closed. Too still. He quickly checked her pulse. There it was, faint but present. Relief washed over him, followed immediately by urgency. He gently shook her shoulder. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" No response. He turned to the girl. "She's still alive. We need to get her warm, now." Without wasting another second, he carried the woman out of the car while guiding the child back toward the cabin. The cold air bit at his lungs, but he moved fast, adrenaline pushing him forward. As they reached the cabin, he realized something that made his hands go cold despite the effort. They hadn't been lost. They had been hiding. He laid the woman carefully on the couch near the fireplace and quickly added more wood to the flames. The cabin filled with the sharp scent of smoke and warmth as the fire came alive. "Blankets," he muttered to himself. He wrapped her in 2 thick wool blankets and placed a folded jacket under her head. Her skin was cold to the touch but not frozen. Her breathing was shallow, uneven. The little girl stood nearby, silent, watching everything with wide, fearful eyes. "What's your name?" he asked gently while checking the woman's pulse again. "Lena," she whispered. "Okay, Lena, your mom is still with us. She just got too cold. We're going to help her, all right?" Lena nodded but didn't speak. He moved quickly, rubbing the woman's hands to bring circulation back. Then he went to the kitchen, filled a kettle, and set it on the stove. Warmth. That was the priority. When he returned, he noticed something that made him pause. The car keys were still in the woman's coat pocket. The gas tank had been almost full. They hadn't run out of fuel. He looked toward Lena. "Why were you sleeping in the car?" he asked carefully. The girl hesitated. Her small fingers tightened around the edge of her sleeve. "Mom said we couldn't stop anywhere with lights," she said quietly. A chill ran through him that had nothing to do with the weather. "Why not?" Lena looked down. "She said he might find us." He didn't ask who he was. He didn't need to. His jaw tightened as he turned back to the woman. This wasn't an accident. This was fear. He gave her small sips of warm water once the kettle whistled. A few drops touched her lips. No reaction yet. "Come sit here," he told Lena, pulling a chair near the fire. He wrapped another blanket around her shoulders. Minutes passed slowly. The only sounds were the crackling wood and the kettle ticking as it cooled. Then finally the woman's fingers twitched. Her lips parted slightly. He leaned closer. "You're safe," he said firmly but gently. "You're in my cabin. Your daughter is here." Her eyelids fluttered. And for the first time since they arrived, he saw something move in her expression, not confusion. Her eyes opened fully, but they didn't settle right away. They moved quickly around the room, searching, measuring, as if she were trying to understand where she was and whether it was safe to breathe. Then she saw Lena. "Mom," the girl whispered, already halfway out of her chair. The woman tried to sit up too fast, panic flashing across her face. The ranger gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're safe," he repeated calmly. "You're in my cabin. Your daughter's right here." Her breathing was fast, uneven. She pulled Lena close with surprising strength, holding her as if the world might take her away again at any moment. Tears slid down her cheeks, silent and steady. "I'm sorry," she kept whispering to the girl. "I'm so sorry." Lena shook her head. "You said we had to hide." The ranger stepped back, giving them space, but his mind was racing. He had seen fear before in lost hikers, in injured hunters, in people caught in storms. But this was different. This was the fear of someone running from another human being. After a few minutes, the woman looked up at him. "Did anyone follow us?" she asked, her voice hoarse. "No," he said firmly. There's no one out there. Just forest. She nodded, but the tension in her body didn't disappear. He handed her a cup of warm tea. Her hands trembled as she held it. You don't have to explain anything right now, he said. You just need to rest. She looked at him for a long moment as if trying to decide whether to trust him. Then her shoulders slowly lowered. We drove all night, she said quietly. I didn't want to stop where there were people. I thought if we stayed in the woods he wouldn't look here. The ranger felt a heaviness settle in his chest. You did the right thing coming this far, he said. But you don't have to hide anymore. For the first time her eyes filled not with fear but relief. Outside the forest remained silent, unchanged. But inside the cabin something had shifted. They hadn't come here to get lost. They had come here to be found.